Council, let me take your perspective on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think the first thing we need to look at is the resignation letter by Dubik. He has cited personal reasons.
Yes.
I know Dubik quite well. He's from my part of the country. I think he's a gentleman of integrity. If there was something really worrying him, that's why he resigned. He would have probably stated publicly, because I know him to be a very strong guy. So we've also listened to Abu Jinepo, who tried to explain some of the reasons why he has resigned. He mentioned that there were some ethical issues that he was asked to breach his own ethics, of which he thinks will resign. I think he also insinuated that possibly a future NDC government would have probably prosecuted him for whatever he was asked to do. So I think Dubik is capable of speaking for himself, and I think opposition would say that, wouldn't they? Because they have every reason to insinuate there was some wrongdoing. Because as my colleague here have made it clear, the main reason is that they want to win power.
The facts are so stark.
Okay.
Yes, stark.
Okay.
Don't take it from me. Don't take it from me.
Doc, let's hear him.
Yes. The main reason that he tried to insinuate, as my colleague here said, they need power. And therefore, everything coming out from ECG, probably they will make a huge news about it. Having said that, yes, even Abu recognizes that in the NDC time, pre-2017, John Jinepo, yes. What name did I mention?
You said Abu.
Okay, John, yes. So John also accepted that they recorded 22% losses during their time. That tells me there was something wrong. A government taking over will probably try to look at this side to see how we can reduce these 22% losses. Because I think 22% losses is still unacceptable. So having taken over, he said that the government currently is actually recording 32% losses. I accepted the 22% losses because he stated it. But I don't really know whether we actually recorded 32 losses.
It's in the financials of ECG.
Yes. So, and we know revenue collection is really a problem. I mean, I have spoken, I'm not an official, I've spoken to people on personal levels, especially people on prepaid meters, who said sometimes the ECG workers make deals with some people that if you own up to 10,000, 15,000, you make deals with some of these workers, and all that they need to do is change the meter for you, and the old debt will be wiped off. I mean, look at even the culture of the workforce. And yet, when the government made an attempt to outsource this particular meter system, the other gentleman is saying that, no, trust the same ECG workers, and let's continue with their meter. You remember,
but that's very unfair. That's very unfair to the ECG staff.
Okay.
Because you see, I'm sure that if I were to cite 2 or 3 examples of corruption in this government, and to tell you that there's a reason why the government is not fit for purpose and must be booted out, you would disagree with me.
Surely. Let me explain. I am not saying that alone is a basis. The idea that they are not even able to collect revenue to the accepted level tell us there's some inefficiency within the workforce. The idea that they themselves admitted they have problem in revenue collection. That was why they are changing these particular meters. These new meters, they believe that are capable of helping them.
Chief, you're aware that the workers at ECG, they do not determine who should bring meters and which meters people should bring. Those are decisions that are taken by those at the top.
At the top, yes.
Including political elements. So when they bring in those substandard meters and those bad meters and all that, why then do we go and blame the poor ECG workers? I'm not saying that we don't have problems with ECG workers. I'm not saying that people don't do deals at ECG.
Deals at ECG.
But for example, going outside the cash waterfall to do these 40 million deals and all those things, signing those contracts and others. What does that got to do with ECG workers?
I don't know what informed the signing of those contracts, but the point I am just trying to make is that if an opposition party is admitting that when they were in power, they were incurring losses of up to 22%. A new government should surely do something about it. As to the appropriateness was what they have done, the government side have not actually stated their case. I mean, those particular, handling those particular area, we probably need to hear from them before we make informed judgment.
Have you seen the PURC letter to the president and the minister?
The one you just gave me, or which one?
PURC.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, maybe you should take a read of that.
Okay.
That's the regulator.
Okay.
A number of online.
That's the regulator
published.
telling us.
Okay.
Yes.
The regulator telling us the issue.
Yes.
That is not sustainable.
But nevertheless, we have also seen this particular release, and I think
Yes.
one of the guys have spoken to it.
Yes.
They have stated the reason why we're having power problems. That their inability for them to get enough gas supply, that accounts for it. For me, such letters also need to be welcome. At least they are showing some transparency, telling us that we expect some outages, and this is the main reason, and they are working towards it. And I think that kind of transparency, I really appreciate it. But nevertheless, if you actually take the performance of the current government in the energy sector, compare it to the NDCs, as he's saying, your time at least, they were not even able to keep the lights on. So I think the government is still doing well. At least that's why all these problems are reported. We are still able to keep the lights on. So
At what cost?
well, the energy sector is the energy for growth. If we don't take the necessary measure to keep the lights on, as they were unable to keep the lights on, and that is probably the genesis of some of these problems. So I think Dubik recognizing he has personal issues and resigning, a new management, I think, will probably breathe some fresh air into the energy sector, especially.
So an entity makes
Yes.
a loss of 270 million
Okay.
in 2017.
Yes.
By 2022,
Yes.
it's making a loss of almost 10 billion cedis a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so when I ask about this thing of keeping the lights on,
Yes.
at what cost? This
Yes.
is what I'm talking about. And you know why I always raise this issue?
Okay.
When the issue of Ghana's debt, people kept pointing fingers. Look, our debt is unsustainable. The way we are piling the debt, we're going to get into trouble. We're going to get into trouble. People said, oh, what is the thing? We are doing free SHS, nursing and training allowance, this, that. Until one day, we were told that we're going to the IMF.
Yes.
And beyond that,
Yes.
irrespective of the fact that the president addressed the nation
Yeah.
and said that we shouldn't listen to anybody, there will be no haircuts. We are still reeling from the haircuts. So I'm saying that sometimes when I hear people say, but the lights are on at what cost? We've heard both the Honorable Jinapo and the ASEP Executive Director, Ben Boachi, inform us that these entities are drawing down on the guarantee to the extent that they've drawn down about 400 of the 500 million guarantee.
Yes.
To the extent that if they continue to draw down, the World Bank guarantee will then be called in. And that jeopardizes the entire IMF program.
But Randy, nevertheless, what we heard strongly from was an opposition MP who has an
No, I'm talking about Ben
Ben-
Boachi.
Ben-
Okay.
ASEP, I'm referring to ASEP.
I will come to the gentleman.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody, I think the government accepts there is a problem in that area. Just as John accepted there was a problem of revenue shortage in that area, collections. Now, as you said, the way forward, I mean, if you look at the NPP manifesto, for example, we have tried to address it. We realize that...
You are in power.
Yes, I understand that.
You are in power. You are referring us to a manifesto.
They were in power. They had
created
problems.
the situation in
No.
the first place.
Let me. No. This particular, 22% tells you that we have inherited some problems. If you say last time there are 22% problems, now it's 32. It means there was a problem.
So you exacerbated.
Let me develop my point.
You were supposed to.
You had your chance to talk. Let me develop my point.
Very well.
But at least accept that we have inherited some of the problems from you. Do you understand that? Government have tried to resolve it. And from what John is explaining, what the government have done is not enough. Nevertheless, only a mad person repeatedly do the same thing and expect different results. And this is why I'm trying to explain to you what a future NPP government would do. A future Bawumia government have insisted that our current energy mix is not the best way forward. We promise that when we come to power after December election.
But are you not in power?
No, I've already explained to you the way. I'm just trying to explain to you some of the way forward.
What
We
are you
recognize.
going to do now.
We are doing now
What?
I have just explained to you. You have explained the problem. What we have done is that we've inherited a problem from you. We are trying to resolve it. Nevertheless, we have future plans. Our future plans is to diversify the energy mix by providing 2,000 megawatts of solar energy. And I welcome this particular thing as a very important thing. Just if you go to our neighboring countries such as Burkina Faso, see the amount of solar energy, solar farms that is widespread. So I think in trying to resolve this our current problem, especially the foreign exchange currency problem that they have spoken about, moving to solar energy would be a very important way forward. And I think it will be able to address some of these problems we're talking about. And the manifesto also spoke about nuclear power. Most advanced countries, it is a nuclear power that has helped them able to supply energy at affordable prices. And I think a future NPP government again would move toward this particular area to be able to reduce some of these problems that we are talking about. Nevertheless, revenue collection, I don't know why we try to put the blame squarely on government alone, when in fact the very people who are even meant to collect the revenue are not really doing their best. What about the responsibility for citizens? At least a citizen consuming something should be willing to pay for it. Do we not apportion some of the blames to citizens themselves who are actually failing to pay their bills? So I think let's give faith with the government, especially the new the new meter system. There's every reason why some people might not want it to work, because some people were probably profiting from the old system. And when you are bringing a new system that is meant to reduce problems, it's natural. Some
portions of a contract, there are portions of a contract that speaks about putting aside some money, and this is outside the cash waterfall mechanism and all that.
Yeah.
Are you excited about this level of opacity?
I'm not privy to that information that you have just said, so I'm not able to say whether I'm excited or not excited. At least if I have a...
No, I'm telling you what the PURC says.
Yes. As I said,
unless you don't believe your regulator.
As I said, I have not read it, so I'm not able to say whether I'm excited or not excited.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.